Thank you everyone for being here today. I know it's a busy week before Thanksgiving break, but I'm excited to be here. I'm an undergraduate at UVA and I in the BME department, and I also worked on this with Dr. Brian Helmke. And so today it's as Christine gave us a great welcoming. It's MADS Libs for Mad Scientists, which is a low stakes activity for contacting research labs. So kind of just putting in perspective of where we're coming from. So I first hope they don't have to start with why undergraduate research is so important. Hopefully everyone is on the same page there, and especially in the context of BME. I think it's a vital, honestly, a life-changing experience for some students. And so at UVA at least, and all over, we know that there's quite a few barriers to entry into undergraduate research, and it's not all that accessible for all students. So the big ones, at least at UVA, that we've identified. Um, are a lack of belonging, lack of awareness, and a lack of self-confidence, which prevents students from being able to join undergraduate research. And so what came out of these barriers is we developed and have been teaching a one credit peer taught course called SURE, which is an acronym that stands for Starting an Undergraduate Research Experience. And I got the opportunity to teach this class last year. I got to take it as an undergrad first year, and then last year I was able to teach it. And so how this class is designed is it's peer taught, which is very important to us because um, we know that being peer taught, it allows students to one, relate and also be able to ask questions to the peer teacher that you might not necessarily want to talk to a professor about, of being understanding, like, I was in your exact same shoes. I know exactly what you're feeling, and that's really important. And then for course design, the way that it's surrounded is about the necessary experiences and skills to join an undergraduate research lab. So this looks like lab tours, panels of alumni, panels of students. We do mock interviews, how to read a research paper, and then also how to contact these labs. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. And also, just to round out this class, it's specifications graded based. It's one credit pass fail. And so we group these into objectives. Because also, what does it mean to get a 93 on if you can contact a professor? I think it really empowers students to be able to make choices about their learning. And I start every class by saying, like, I don't care, like, you should do this because it's going to benefit you. And so we want to make sure that they demonstrate this mastery versus like what's a 92 versus a 91. So in this context, the cohort every year is about 40 first-year engineering students. It's one section. And in the context of the class, the students have already learned about what undergraduate might do in a research lab. They've already been on lab tours, so they've seen an undergraduate research or a research lab, and they've even identified labs that they're interested in. So we've got to that point, but then there's still this barrier of they feel intimidated to write this cold email. It's always scary to have a blank piece of paper, and they feel like they have to have this perfect email, and if they don't write the right thing, and it's just kind of a little bit daunting. So we wanted to introduce the process of writing a contact email to a lab principal investigator in a welcoming and supportive way that didn't have to be this really big, scary thing. And so this is what it kind of looks like. So how we introduced it is every student at the beginning of the class, I did it on paper because I think it's more fun. And so they had a piece of paper and on one side had this side. And so with a partner, just like traditional Mad Libs, which we will practice today, they were able to back and forth ask each other for these um, parts of words, just like a traditional Mad Lib. And then at the end, you get the reveal. What they would do is then they would flip to the back of their piece of paper. But since we're virtual, I'll try the trick, turning all the words. So now you can see all the words. So I'll read it aloud. So, hi, this was supposed to be Dr. Smith. I'm a seventh year student at UVA seeking to get involved in research. When searching for information about labs at UVA, I came across your article on sadly cats. I'm very interested in brains because of the experience in cutting. It's interesting. That kind of works. I'm specifically excited about hiking. I would love to explore it further with your lab if you have any open positions. I can commit up to 47 hours a week to research and would be happy to work for credit, pay, or just experience. I'm happy, shining, and stinky. I believe I'd be a good fit for the lab. Please reach out to me with any questions. I've included my resume for reference. I look forward to hearing from you. So obviously this is a very silly email, and I usually say that I hope none of the students ever send the email that they write this way. But I think it shows that it one provides a structure for students, but also that it's not this big giant thing. It's just an email, um, and it can be silly. So then go back to presenting. So this is the back of the page that the students would get. So then they would fill out. So either they could fill out on the front the words. So then both students get the experience of having the reveal. And so then around class, we share them out. And they're usually pretty funny. And so to kind of close up for some outcomes of this, it's the format is the Mad Libs. It breaks the ice, and it also reduces the fear of messing up. Like they don't have to be perfect. It familiarizes students with the structure and tone of professional outreach. So even though the words themselves are silly and goofy and don't match, the structure of the email still stands. And it really is a bridge to the real email while increasing student self-confidence. And so the really big example of that we got back from this is then they write their full email. And so this was a student that sent this email to a real PI at UVA. And parts of it, and we encourage them to change it up and bring your own flavor. But I think it shows it has the same bones of what we had before. So I'm a first year computer engineering student, so that's how our email started. That they recently found the lab and was specifically interested in automating processing. So that's exactly what the first sentence was. I'm interested in this topic because of my desire to work with electronics, adding some detail, of course. And then this is the same wording. I would love to explore it further with your lab if you have any available positions, have the hours. And then they talked about their strengths, that they have collaboration skills from working in the research lab before. So then they also have math experience and some coursework. So they finished up saying they're hardworking, open to learning, and excited to contribute. I hope you're a good fit, and then finished up with an outro. So this was, and I did encourage all the students saying that you're welcome to use our template, but also hopefully not every student, they would figure out if you're using the exact same wording. But I do think that this shows that it was really a starting place that they were able to go from nothing to then using this bridge to then a full email that I think at least is a pretty professional email that gets the job done. So I appreciate you all for listening, and I think this also could be a process for this was in the context of reaching out to a scientific PI, but I also think it could model any type of science communication or any type of science writing that might be daunting or scary if you give them a model with adding something funny like Mad Libs. I think it was a really good low stakes way that students learned this skill. So thank you.